Alright, a really cool guy 3D printed this and mailed it to me for free, which was super awesome of him. Theodore, shout out to him on HeroQuestFans Discord. Thanks for sending these. So these are 3D printed. It's pretty big. It's got magnets in it. It's that PLA, P-L-A, however you say it. So that's supposed to be like modular. So I'm just going to compare. Okay, so that's a HeroQuest remake figure. I mean, it's kind of uneven, but I mean, it works. Those are big squares. Here's a classic HeroQuest wizard. Yeah, seems to work pretty well. Cool. Alright, well, I'm gonna unpack this stuff. So different textures, and then I guess they lay end to end, but I mean the magnets aren't super strong, so I mean it's not going to be like perfect. But I was telling him, hey, this looks really cool, this 3D printed plastic with the multicolor stuff. It's just that I was concerned that it's going to be too big for my desk. But you know, I'd do a video reviewing it at least. So full disclosure, I did receive this for free. I didn't really request it. They just kind of reached out to me. Said, hey, you want to show it off? Whether I actually use it in streams, I mean, it would be cool, but I think my card table is just too small right now. So I'll show some more stuff. Yeah, this is on a bed. What of it? So let's just take some more stuff out of the box. With these big modular pieces. I think the idea is that you're going to recreate the HeroQuest board with these 3D printed panels. Wow, there's a lot of them. My question is going to be, where's the corridors? I like the color. It's good high contrast. Like dungeon. And are these going to be durable? I think if you drop these on a kitchen floor, like that corner might break. But this is definitely stronger than like resin that a lot of people 3D print with these days. They seem, wow, this must have taken ages. This must have taken like many, because I mean, just one of these could take like many hours, like a whole day. The piece coming off. So probably any one of these probably took a day. I mean, I don't know if this guy has multiple machines going or just one, but it seems like he 3D prints a lot of stuff. And then you'd have to assemble them. Looks like you'd have to glue those pieces together, or you'd have to change filaments in between. I don't know. I'm just sticking these together. This is not how HeroQuest works. But yeah, look at that. That's like as big as my table right there, just about. So, and there's more in here. Oh wow. It's like a box. Really? Wow. I was concerned that this stuff wouldn't survive the trip. Wouldn't break. Oh, here's those little rooms. Oh, so it really is every single room on the HeroQuest board. And the magnets just kind of like loosely hold them together. Something like that. There's still more. Oh, here we go. These are the corridors. This comes apart. It's supposed to come apart. Oh, it does. Look at that. There's a joint on it. So this whole thing like comes loose. Interesting. I'll have to pull some more stuff out of the box to see how all this fits together. this whole box is of corridor pieces. So I can basically build the HeroQuest board using this stuff. Interesting. See what I can do. It's going to be huge. This is really awesome. Okay, so here are doors. Oh, they're hinged. Fun. I mean, you don't have to physically go through the door in HeroQuest, but could you if you wanted to? Yep, you could go through it. Modern figure couldn't. Yeah. But still, it's a cool idea. I worry about those hinges, but it looks pretty secure, and I can see there's magnets, neodymium magnets. See, it's got a little bit of a grip to it. So we got these other doors. Reminds me of like Lego doors. You just kind of like stick it on there, and your figures aren't metal, so it's not like they're gonna stick to it. So you could just kind of do that. Oh, there's a lot of doors. And since you're not having open and closed doors, you can just use all of them. Yeah, there's way more than 21 here. Let's see, I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. It's like 30? Maybe 35. Okay, well, let's see what else we've got here. This is a big, heavy box, too. Oh my goodness. These are walls. Some assembly required. Okay, so these wall pieces. See, with these 3D boards, I always thought, well, it would take forever to set it up. But, how fun. Okay, so that's a corner. So you can build up walls if you want to. So it doesn't just look like these bare tracks. Okay, so these are the wall pieces. There's just like tons of them. And this is not painted. This is all 3D printed in just different color plastic. So the assembly with the magnets, this must have taken ages. So I assume these guys, I mean, they're giving this stuff away to me to demo it and show it off if I want to. But they could sell these, you know, generic HeroQuest style, HeroQuest compatible, unofficial. And somebody could spend, you know, months printing all this stuff and then make their own board. Obviously, it'd be much cheaper to get the real thing in cardboard. More. So 2 boxes of these little walls. That would take a long time. So setup is going to take hours. So you've got teams of people helping you. More doors. More door. Okay, so maybe there's like 60 doors. These different styles of... I see at least 3 different styles of floor. The bars. They're all pre-assembled. Just some rubble. There's a little bit of like fluff or flash or whatever you call that coming off of it, but pretty good. Pretty amazing. Bamboo Lab. I wonder if he didn't have his own stuff, if he sent it somewhere and had them do it for him. But, so there's 2 colors there. Wow. A big archway. So you could send a gargoyle through that, a big huge monster. You just kind of stick it on there. That. Double doors. Now we get those little arrow slots. Some castle decor. Oh, there's a spiral staircase. Interesting. A little interpretation of that. Got some old candles. And the flash from the 3D printing almost looks like spider webs. And of course, a person could print that or paint that more if they wanted to. See, I thought I'd be painting something like this. I mean, over the course of a long, long time. I mean, give it a spray paint and then, wow, this is incredible. Okay, I was not expecting this level of detail, but so this is like to dress things up, little corners, and then the staircase. You need the staircase. You need the doors. The walls, you know, they weren't really in the original, but you could use them pretty easily. What's this big case? A box? It's like a mystery box. I'm going to open this up and like a goblin's going to jump out. It's like a lid. Oh. What? Wait, so this is like a complete... Okay, the only thing missing is the cards and the dice. So these are 3D printed figures. They're all held in there. I was not expecting all this. I mean, I saw that the guy had 3D printed figures. Okay, so there's a goblin. And it's not painted. It's all... Detail's pretty good for... pretty solid. Do I dare? It's about... Yeah, the same stiffness as the... like the original figures, like the Games Workshop figures. Yeah, you could not sell these. They're too much like the originals. Huh, interesting. I mean, you could paint these better than that, but I mean, not bad. This is way better than like the Hero Forge 3D printed color plastic. I mean, I spent $45 on a figure from Hero Forge. This was a couple years ago now, and that thing was brittle, and the colors were muted. These guys look like they know what they're doing. Of course, with that, I mean, Hero Forge, they don't care. You just do what you want, assemble your own thing, and you pick the colors, and it's not their fault if it looks like crap. Okay, that was not obviously the original holding the sword, but kind of a mod. It looks kind of cool. I like how the mummy is like a brighter white. It's kind of smooth too. Interesting. Yeah, these are just like ready to play with. And I like how the orcs are different colors. There's the dwarf. Yeah, you lose some detail on this, but not bad. Pretty impressive. Wizard. It's mostly on the faces. Those would be good for a stream, for sure. These guys. Barbarian. Wow. Trust me, I'm not trying to do a fake reaction here. I really am impressed by this. I mean, first of all, the time investment. Second of all, the just the sheer quantity. So, Chaos Warrior. I always wondered what they look like in painted red. I don't know if I like that bright red, but I mean it's cool that there's different versions. You got the Chaos Warrior, and let's compare it to the original Wizard. Original painted Wizard. About the same weight and everything. Got the ring. Barely see it. But it's there. Oh, he's got some red skeletons. Red skeleton. Famous comedian. Chaos Warriors. Oh yeah, so these guys are the uniform colors. So 4 of those. Maybe I won't take every single one of them out. Got little slots they go in. So 3 red skeletons, an extra red Chaos Warrior, so it could be like a boss. Doom Guard. Chaos Warlock. Again, it almost looks painted. And if it was painted, you'd go, that's kind of a crappy paint job, but the fact that it's 3D printed plastic, just colored plastic. Okay, alternate Chaos Warrior, all gray. Could be like a statue. Oh, there's the gargoyle. Very colorful individual. See, it almost looks like you could pull the wings off like the classic figure, but it's not. It's different. And the way that whip is, I think because I've seen 3D files, like the whip is in a different position. Like it was originally up higher, it wasn't actually on the wingtips, but that's what the 3D printed model looks like. And that's fine. It's probably stronger that way, it's less likely to break. So you got the different goblins with different colored tunics. Orcs have different colored tunics. And the weapons are intact. See, I'm hand painting my own ones, and I was going to do something similar to this, you know, just give them like slightly different color outfits. So it's 2 blue and 2 orange. Or no, all of them are blue. Oh, I get it. He made all the ones with the regular swords blue. And he made the curved sword or notched sword orc, the boss orc, the special orc in orange. And he made the cleaver ones green. It's like the Ninja Turtles. Their weapon and their tunic outfit, so yellow for the flail one. It's pretty cool. Oh, and he had another cleaver one that was a different color, just for fun. Yeah, because those are green. This one's gray. And the femurs, or the femurs, or the femurs, however you want to call them, with red. It's pretty close to how I'm painting them. Using the card art, the original card art from the 90s as a guide. I mean, you do get the Les Edwards paintings on the original HeroQuest have a certain color scheme. And then the card art has the Gary Chalk drawings have a different color scheme. That one's kind of hard to get out of there. I thought maybe these would have magnets in them too, but they don't. It's fine by me. I'm afraid I'm going to break it. Cool, thank you, Theodore. And anybody else that helped you on this project. So this box with a sliding lid that holds the monsters and the heroes. So the only thing missing are the tiles and the cards and the dice. I mean, I guess he could have 3D printed those too, but it's like, this is pretty amazing. It's even got the eye. Some suggestion of detail there. So, pretty impressive. So there they all are. Goblins are, once again, different colors based on what weapon they have. So blue for hatchets and orange for sword. I was going to say he's missing some goblins, but he put some of them behind the sword-wielding skeletons. Now, Ribby pointed out to me that the bases, there's a little bit of schmutz there. The bases for the Chaos Warriors are slightly smaller than the other heroes and characters, but anybody that's 3D printing them, you know, could have standardized the base. So put them on there. They've got plenty of room. can't really slide them, but you can lift them. So I included a couple of extra skeletons, different Chaos Warrior, extra skeletons and Chaos Warriors. Skeletons are all the same, except there's some that are red. Chaos Warrior. Well, I'm pretty impressed with this. I mean, if I were like paying this guy, I would expect probably to pay like hundreds of dollars for something like this. You know, or just like, sure, it'll take, you know, 6 months to a year to create, fine, go for it. I mean, just the amount of labor and materials to make something like this. I mean, a regular HeroQuest classic set you could get for, I don't know, the prices vary, but maybe like $170 for a set that's been open and it's kind of worn, you know. Not perfect condition. But yeah, those heroes are good enough for the table, I would say. And they're easy to tell apart at a glance on camera, which is the thing that you want. I don't know about the black bases, but retaining the color of the base to differentiate the monsters is a good thing. I mean, Chaos Warriors I would have had gray, but these are red. But of course, if you're using red for these Chaos guys, it makes a certain amount of sense that you'll have the heroes be a different color. Now, if you step on one of these, you're going to break it. So the gargoyle. So except for this one, he made all the chaos, the high level chaos monsters red. These skeletons have black. Green for all the green skins. Will look kind of like an olive for the orcs to differentiate them from the goblins. And these are, the Famirs are like a little bit darker green, like an olive, again an olive color. Of course, bright red for these Chaos Warriors and skeletons. White for the mummies. So yeah, they all look different enough from each other, you can tell right away what each one is supposed to be. Let's put these heroes away for now. They're sturdy enough, I'm not worried about breaking them. Let's see, does this fit? Oh, it's for the side here. I like how you put a little divot there. So yeah, this was a really cool gift. Definitely much more than I expected. I mean, he showed me some pictures. Even those pictures just didn't do him justice. Just the weight, all of the stuff. I mean, it almost feels like it's that 3D printed feel of plastic. It almost feels like wood, and it's got kind of a mottled texture. It's kind of partway between smooth and kind of grainy, kind of rough. I mean, you could buff it with sandpaper if you wanted, and you can, but it's already done for you. There's like no painting. I don't see any paint at all. So I'm going to try to assemble this and just see what it looks like, and then I'll put the whole thing away. But yeah, thanks for watching, and shout out to Theodore and anybody else who helped him out. I thought there was another guy that was helping him, or maybe he was just helping promote it. But if this is their company, this bamboo filament, or just if they use someone else's services, yeah, thanks for everybody who took the time to put this together. This is really incredible. I mean, this is like a super fan. Like, if I were a Hasbro or Avalon Hill employee, or if I'd ever worked at Milton Bradley, I would look at this and go, wow, people love my product so much that, like, this is the legacy of this game, that people are making stuff like this, like taking the time to create something like this, not to like rip anybody off, like to say, oh yeah, you can buy this and not the real thing, but just the love and the creativity to just recreate the game. Like, what would be the point of this? Well, it's bright and colorful, it's durable, I mean, it would take a long time to assemble, but you could pack it up pretty easily. And the squares are really big, so you have lots of room to play. I mean, this would be like a showcase piece. You know, it's like having a deluxe chess set, you know, with really fancy pieces. I mean, it's not necessary, but it sure is cool. And this would be certainly easier to break down and put away than a lot of these 3D boards that I see people doing on ye olde N. You know, they're made of like heavy resin, or like it's just a big solid piece. I mean, you set it up out in your garage. Not everybody can do that, but this, I mean, you could fit it in this big heavy box, take it out and assemble it. So I think if I get a new place, if I get a bigger place and have like a permanent table, this would be really sweet to set up and put out, you know, and play some games. I mean, you could take this with you to a game spot, you know, like a game space, like at some friendly local game store, but you need a lot of space, and you're going to play a lot of hours on it to make up for the fact that it takes so long to set up and break down. So anyway, once again, thank you. I think this is quite right, because I've run out of space, and I'm trying to recreate the, looks like there's some rooms missing, or gotta shift the puzzle pieces around, but anyway, that's pretty huge. Need help after all, I figured it out. So it really does match exactly the classic HeroQuest board, or the remake board. Mammoth thing assembled. So if they're 1-inch squares, it's like 26 inches across and 19 inches tall. But I think these are like 1.5-inch squares, so it's even bigger than that. And yeah, you just kind of put the doors where they look like they would go. Say, oh, there's opening the door into a room. They kind of clink on there, but they're not, you know, super stuck on. They're not super powerful magnets. I mean, I wouldn't run my credit card around it, just in case. Some of these are made for like crossroads, like that. And I guess these little piles of rubble could just be like a blocked square. That makes sense. So you could, are there any double blocks? You just do that and say, kind of like the PC game. So you could kind of something like that. And these are just the regular doors that don't have these edges on them. So those you could put any old where. These wall bits, because, you know, every maze is different. Some of these rooms are just nothing. So you could block them off, put the walls. But they're not so high that, you know, you can't see what you're doing. So it'd take ages to set up, but if you had a game that was up for like a week or something, that could be pretty neat. The big double doors. Yeah, it's not quite as big as Battle Masters. It's decorative walls. So at that point you're pretty much just decorating. So yeah, I should correct what I said earlier. I said, oh, all you need are the tiles, the cards, the dice. You also need the furniture. Furniture is not included, but you can put the old furniture wherever you want. put the monsters and the heroes. So yeah, fantastic. So yeah, shout out to Theodore and Ben, the two guys who arranged this, put this together, and sent it to me. Very nice of them, very generous of them. If they're making these for mass production for fans, I mean, good luck. Hope you guys don't get in any trouble. Hope you're just doing it for love of the game and helping other people achieve their super fan dream setups. Because really, I mean, this is great. If you're printing it yourself, you could use your own colors. You could always paint it if it wasn't good enough for your standards. And just arrange it however you want, and you could have a good old time assembling it. You know, I could just picture some kids with their parents, you know, setting it up together, just like setting up a puzzle. Be half the fun. But yeah, I was able to slide the pieces around to the right configuration, so it really does match up. All right, that's it. Thank you. With 1.5 inch squares, these abominations with their big spears take up a lot of room.